Okay, question 16 has given us this equation and it wants us to work out the gradient. Now we can only know the gradient if it looks like y equals mx plus c. This doesn't look like y equals mx plus c, so we're going to have to rearrange the equation to make it. So what's wrong with it? Why does it not look like it? Well, we've got this plus, we've got this 3x on the left, that's in the wrong place, so let's take away 3x. So if I take away 3x, I've got 2y equals negative 3x, and I could have put it after the 7, but I'm putting it before the 7 to make it look more like this. Add on 7. That looks way better, but it still doesn't say y, it says 2y, so I'm also going to need to divide every term by 2. So that will give me y, which I want, and then I need to divide this by 2, and I need to divide this by 2. So that will be minus 3 divided by 2, which I can just write as 3 over 2, x, plus 7 over 2. And the value of the gradient is the m value. So now I can just look for which answer says minus 3 over 2. It's this one. (16b) is testing if we know when lines are perpendicular, what happens to their gradients. So perpendicular means that lines meet at right angles. And there's a special rule for lines that meet at right angles. Their gradients, they always times together to equal. So if I've got two gradients, gradient 1 and gradient 2, they always times together to give me minus 1. Okay? That's a special thing that we have to know in it to be able to do this question. So the gradient of our first equation, they've written it in a funny way, but we can, if we change it back to the way we expect to see it, mx plus c, put the x first, the gradient of our equation that they've given us n is negative 3/4. So that's my first gradient. And I need to times it by something to give me minus 1. And that sounds really difficult, but actually it's really, really straightforward, because what we always do is whatever the sign is, we look for one with the opposite sign. So straight away I know it can't be that one. And then we take whatever fraction it is and we flip it upside down. So I want positive 4/3, because when we times them together, just move that out of the way, we're going to get 12 or negative 12 divided by 12. So because we swap the numbers over, we'll always get the same number on the top and the bottom. So that will always cancel down to the 1 that we need, to negative 1. So the answer for this question is 4/3. That's called finding the negative reciprocal. Okay, it's the negative because it's the opposite sign. And reciprocal means to flip the fraction upside down. Okay.